Indira Gandhi's assassination, the untold story of India's darkest day. On the morning of October 31st, 1984, a grim chapter was etched into the annals of Indian history.
कि मैं जीवित रहूं या नहीं रहूं, मेरी लंबी उम्र रही है और मैं ये इस पर मुझे अगर गौरव किसी चीज पर है तो इस पर है कि सारा जीवन मेरा सेवा में गया.
Indira Gandhi was assassinated by her own security guards. It happened in the aftermath of the Golden Temple being stormed in Operation Blue Star.
He raised the revolver. She says, "Are byan singh ye kya?" And he says, "Yeah, Kaal Paksam da badala." He shoots her 3 times, and Satwan Singh starts firing from his Sten gun, and then Bhindranwale Singh continues firing.
I say this is the easiest and the surest way of Mrs. Gandhi getting assassinated.
Satwan Singh and Beyant Singh, and masterminded by Kehar Singh, in wake of the Operation Blue Star, changed the course of contemporary politics.
We regret to announce the death of the Prime Minister, Mrs. Indira Gandhi.
Indira Gandhi, India's formidable and only female Prime Minister, fell to a volley of bullets fired not by foreign enemies, but by the very men entrusted with her protection. Her assassins, Sikh bodyguards Beyant Singh and Satwan Singh, executed the act in the garden of her official residence, transforming a quiet Delhi morning into a moment of unspeakable horror. The sheer brutality and symbolism of the act sent shockwaves across the nation. It was a betrayal so profound that it seemed to rip through the very soul of India. This wasn't merely the assassination of a leader. It was a national trauma that exposed deep communal fissures and set off a chain reaction of violence, grief, and political upheaval. In this video, we journey through the explosive events that led to her killing, beginning with the military siege of a sacred Sikh shrine, to the days of bloodshed that followed. What happened in 1984 wasn't just history. It was a turning point that would haunt the country for decades. Welcome to the Global Insight. The roots of Indira Gandhi's assassination trace back to June 1984, when she authorised one of the most controversial military operations in independent India's history, Operation Blue Star. Intended as a decisive blow against rising Sikh militancy, the operation aimed to neutralise Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale, a fiery preacher and militant leader who had entrenched himself inside the revered Golden Temple complex in Amritsar. Once a political pawn backed by the Congress to undermine rival Akali Dal leaders, Bhindranwale had evolved into a militant icon for Sikh separatism, openly championing the creation of Khalistan. By 1984, his stronghold in the temple had turned into an armed fortress, and Gandhi felt that she had no choice but to act. The military assault that followed stunned the nation. The Indian Army stormed the sacred Golden Temple with tanks and heavy artillery, engaging in a brutal confrontation that lasted for days. While official figures reported 492 casualties, including militants and civilians, many believe the true death toll was in the thousands. The Akal Takht, the highest seat of Sikh authority, was left in ruins, and the destruction of the Sikh Reference Library, home to centuries-old manuscripts, was a cultural catastrophe. For the Sikh community, this wasn't just a counterinsurgency mission, it was sacrilege. As Fox News reports, the operation inflicted a wound so deep that many Sikhs perceived it as an existential attack on their faith. This profound sense of betrayal and grief would later fuel the anger that led 2 Sikh bodyguards to take Gandhi's life in revenge. On the morning of October 31st, 1984, Indira Gandhi rose as she always did, disciplined, determined, and poised for yet another day as India's iron-willed Prime Minister. But fate had other plans. As she prepared for an interview with British actor and documentarian Peter Ustinov, she stepped out into the sun-dappled garden of her Safdarjung Road residence, unaware that the men flanking her were moments away from turning that peaceful garden into a scene of horror. At approximately 9:30 a.m, bodyguard Beyant Singh pulled out his .38 revolver and shot her 3 times in the abdomen. His accomplice, Satwan Singh, followed with a devastating burst, firing 30 rounds from a Sterling submachine gun. According to reports, Beyant Singh uttered chillingly, "I have done what I had to do, you do what you want to do," moments before he was apprehended. The Prime Minister was rushed to the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, where doctors fought desperately to save her, but the damage was too severe. She was pronounced dead at 2:20 p.m. A subsequent autopsy revealed the sheer brutality of the attack. She had been hit by 30 bullets. 23 had passed clean through, and 7 remained embedded in her body. The garden, once a place of calm reflection, had become the epicenter of a seismic political catastrophe. As described in a haunting retrospective by Time magazine, the gunshots that morning weren't just the sound of an assassination, they were the thunderclap that heralded the unraveling of national unity, setting in motion days of unimaginable violence and trauma. In the immediate aftermath of Indira Gandhi's assassination, India was plunged into an abyss of communal violence that would forever stain its democratic fabric. For 4 harrowing days, enraged mobs swept through Delhi and other parts of the country, targeting Sikh homes, businesses, and places of worship in a frenzy of revenge. It was not just retaliation, it was organised terror. Official figures claim around 3,350 Sikhs were killed, but independent estimates suggest that the death toll could be anywhere from 8,000 to 16,000. Over 40 gurdwaras, the sacred centres of Sikh faith, were desecrated or destroyed in what many have called a pogrom rather than a riot. These were not random acts of violence, they were calculated, widespread, and executed with chilling coordination. As reported by the University of Warwick, numerous survivors and human rights activists have long accused members of the ruling Congress Party of orchestrating and inciting the violence. Eyewitnesses recall how local leaders allegedly handed out voter lists to identify Sikh households, while police forces stood by, or in some cases participated in the brutality. One survivor recounted how his family remained locked inside their home, trembling as the air outside filled with smoke, screams, and the stench of burning flesh. To this day, justice remains elusive. Despite numerous commissions and inquiries, few perpetrators have faced consequences, and many families continue to live in the shadows of unhealed trauma. The anti-Sikh riots of 1984 remain not just a blot on India's conscience, but an open wound in the nation's soul. In the wake of Indira Gandhi's assassination, the Indian government scrambled to find answers and restore public confidence. The Justice Thakkar Commission was swiftly set up to investigate the circumstances surrounding her murder, but its conclusions only deepened the mystery. The commission hinted at the possible complicity of R.K. Dhawan, Gandhi's trusted aide and secretary, pointing out inconsistencies in his behaviour on the day of the assassination. Yet no concrete evidence emerged, and Dhawan was never formally charged. What did follow was the swift conviction and execution of Satwant Singh and Kehar Singh, the latter being implicated in the planning of the attack. Both men were hanged in January 1989, but the full truth behind the assassination remained shrouded in ambiguity. One of the most haunting questions that continues to perplex historians and analysts alike is why Sikh bodyguards were allowed to remain on Gandhi's security detail after Operation Blue Star, a military action that caused widespread anguish within the Sikh community. This decision, in hindsight, appears almost recklessly negligent, prompting theories that Gandhi herself may have insisted on it as a display of secular trust or political defiance. Conspiracy theories have flourished in the vacuum left by the Commission's inconclusiveness. Some allege internal police rivalries and deeper plots, though no substantiated evidence has ever emerged to support such claims. As noted in public records and sources such as Wikipedia, the fog of uncertainty surrounding the events of October 31st, 1984 has never fully lifted, leaving space for speculation, suspicion, and a nation still yearning for clarity. Indira Gandhi's assassination was not just the end of a political life, it marked a seismic shift in India's political trajectory. In the immediate aftermath, her son Rajiv Gandhi stepped into the role of Prime Minister, propelled by a wave of national sympathy but burdened by the communal conflagration her death had unleashed. His tenure, although initially hopeful, was marred by the long shadow of the riots and the divisive politics that followed. Indira had ruled India with an iron fist, and her leadership style left behind a nation both in awe and in conflict with itself. To her supporters, she was the embodiment of national strength, a leader who dared to challenge global powers declared India a nuclear state and held the nation together in turbulent times. Yet to her detractors, she was the architect of authoritarianism, most notably during the emergency of 1975 to 1977, when civil liberties were suspended and political opposition was crushed. The legacy of Indira Gandhi remains as complex as the woman herself. She's remembered as a trailblazer who broke gender barriers and redefined political leadership, but also as a leader whose decisions, particularly Operation Blue Star, left lasting communal scars. Even decades after her death, her influence is felt across party lines and in the continued discourse around national unity, secularism, and the centralisation of power. Her life and death continue to cast long shadows over Indian politics, serving both as a warning and a touchstone. The unresolved tensions from 1984, along with the polarised opinions about her leadership, ensure that Indira Gandhi remains not just a figure of history, but a symbol whose relevance endures. Indira Gandhi's assassination was not merely the loss of a Prime Minister, it was the violent climax of a political journey marked by immense power, profound controversy, and deeply divisive choices. From the storming of the Golden Temple to the flames of communal riots, her final months encapsulated the perilous tightrope that she walked as a leader willing to confront both internal threats and global pressures. Her life and death remain symbolic of the high-stakes world of Indian politics, a realm where bold decisions can secure legacies but also unleash unforeseen chaos. Her passing left behind a nation grappling with grief, rage, and unresolved trauma, but it also left a legacy of leadership that still sparks debate across generations. That's it from the team at the Global Insight for now. We want to hear what you think. How does Indira Gandhi's legacy affect you? Do you know someone who lived through the riots or the emergency? And what do you think about the balance between strong leadership and democratic principles? As always, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel here at the Global Insight. And until next time, stay tuned.